Welcome back to the deep dive. Now, if you're someone who is constantly looking for ways to boost efficiency, and you've wondered why manufacturing productivity seems, well, just stuck in low gear,
Especially here in the U.S.
exactly, then you are in exactly the right place. We've compiled data that points to the real culprit, and it's not technology.
And it is definitely not the workers themselves.
Not at all.
That's right. Our mission today is to, cut straight through the noise. We're
Hmm.
diving into a report that takes something often dismissed as just friction.
Right, simple communication breakdown.
Civil breakdowns, exactly. And it systematically quantifies the massive economic losses they cause. This is hard data, and it reveals some profoundly expensive blind spots for leadership.
And the scale of this isn't small, it's systemic.
Oh, absolutely.
The source material suggests these failures are contributing to a productivity crisis that's, what, a $1.2 trillion economic drag across U.S. industries.
That's the estimate. And the core insight, the thing that's almost unbelievable, is that the gap isn't technical. It's cultural. It's structural.
It's a real paradox, then.
It is. The workforce shows this immense readiness for change, for new tech, for data. They want to work smarter. But the management systems, the tools they're given, the metrics, they're just failing to capitalize on that. The problem really starts at the top, not on the shop floor.
Okay, so let's start by defining that pain. What are the measurable symptoms? Give me the most shocking statistic that really drives this home.
The most shocking one is just how pervasive it is. 68%.
68% of what?
Of frontline workers report that poor communication directly impacts their job performance.
Wow. So 7 out of every 10 people on a factory floor are feeling this.
Every single day, they're walking away frustrated or delayed because they couldn't get the information they needed to do their job.
And this isn't just a minor annoyance, is it? The report breaks that number down.
It does. It shows that 11% are significantly impacted, and another 24% are moderately impacted. That's a huge chunk of the workforce hitting a major roadblock every day.
And roadblocks mean delays, which means money.
It instantly converts to economics,
Yeah.
mostly through wasted time. The data shows 53% of workers lose 5% or more of their workday just waiting.
Waiting for what?
Waiting for safety info, for an approval, for the right setup sheet. They were literally standing idle because information isn't moving.
Now, I can hear a manager saying, okay, 5% here or there, that's just the cost of doing business.
You might think that, but it compounds. 63% of workers say that this idle time directly undermines their production targets.
And it's not a short pause.
No. 47%, nearly half, spend 15 minutes or more every single shift just waiting to start their next task. That 15 minutes is pure measurable productivity drain.
This is where it gets visceral. The source material has a really specific example of the cost, right, for a mid-sized facility.
It does. Let's say you have a 200-employee facility, and you take that very conservative 5% productivity loss number.
Just from those communication delays.
Right. Based on median wages, conservative calculations show that costs that one facility about $459,600 a year
Almost $500,000.
in lost output, just gone. And that number doesn't even touch the other costs.
The reworks, the shipping.
Reworks, expedited shipping, the safety risks that come from people rushing to catch up, it just spirals
So if a machine was losing $500,000 a year, you'd fix it immediately.
instantly.
The fact that this persists means it has to be invisible. Which brings us to the diagnosis. Why can't leadership see this?
That's where we get into what the report calls the communication iceberg.
The iceberg.
The visibility gap is it's massive. Your traditional management systems, KPIs, dashboards, formal reports, they only capture about 30% of what's actually happening.
That's the visible operations,
Oh.
the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
So what's the other 70%? What's lurking under the water?
That's the operational reality. It's all the invisible stuff. The informal problem solving, the verbal workarounds, the undocumented micro decisions,
And all that crucial tribal knowledge.
all of it. And since that 70% is happening below the waterline of formal monitoring, leadership has these massive operational blind spots. They're managing a ghost of their actual facility.
And that, of course, would lead to a breakdown in trust.
You see it right in the data. A quarter of all frontline workers, 25%, believe their leadership just does not understand the daily realities of their jobs.
That's a huge number.
It is. And that visibility gap creates a massive feedback loop failure. Only 38% of workers feel their feedback or ideas actually reach the decision makers.
So 62% of that on-the-ground intelligence is just lost.
It's filtered, it's distorted, or it just disappears into a black hole.
And even when a problem does get through, there's still the wait.
Right. 81% get a response within an hour, which sounds okay.
Yeah, on paper.
But only 41% get a response within a few minutes. That gap, that 40 or 50-minute wait for a simple check, that is the wasted employee motion we were just talking about.
So leadership is managing the dashboard, but the root cause, that 70% of invisible operations...
It's completely untouched.
Okay, that sets us up perfectly. If leadership can't see the problem, they must be working off of some old assumptions about their workforce.
That's right. And we need to bust those myths.
Let's start with the big one. Myth number 1.
The idea that the frontline workforce is resistant to technology, that they're scared of AI or data-driven solutions.
And the reality?
It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
87% of workers are totally comfortable with workplace data collection if it's used for improvements.
Okay, that's high.
And get this, 82% already have baseline AI knowledge. 45% of them say they're very familiar with it. The workforce isn't just ready, they're waiting for the tools.
So where is the disconnect?
It's an implementation. Despite this, overwhelming readiness, only 8% of workers actually use a unified communication platform.
What are the rest using?
71% are still relying on basic two-way radios.
Walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies, wow. The barrier isn't worker resistance. It's a failure by management to deploy the modern tools workers are ready for.
A colossal failure of strategic investment. Okay, let's hit myth number 2. This one feels even more dangerous.
The myth that workers are actually satisfied with communication as it is?
And they're not.
Well, this is what we call the paradox of normalized dysfunction.
Okay, break that down.
An incredible 86% of workers do report satisfaction with their communication practices.
But wait, how does that make sense?
Because they look at the current broken system and say, yeah, this is just how manufacturing works. They've normalized it. At the same time, 68% say it actively hurts their job performance.
So they've just internalized the dysfunction.
Exactly. They haven't experienced anything better, so they don't know what to ask for. That high satisfaction number is actually hiding severe productivity loss. It's making management complacent.
And the final myth. This one gets at the risk to the organization's knowledge base. What about experienced workers?
Myth 3 is that the veterans, the most experienced workers, benefit most from how things are now.
And the reality is?
The reality is that veterans, we're talking 20-plus years of experience, they feel 60% less understood by leadership than brand new workers.
That's completely counterintuitive.
It should be. But all their deep expertise, their knowledge of how to fix that one machine, their troubleshooting skills, it's all tribal knowledge.
So it's part of the invisible 70%.
And leadership can't see it. So as these veterans get closer to retirement, that disconnect creates this massive unmitigated risk. When they walk out the door, that knowledge just evaporates.
This makes it so clear. Poor communication isn't just a small inefficiency. It is directly creating these escalating invisible threats.
They snowball into systemic failure.
Let's detail those 3 specific threats the survey found.
The first and the most common is what we call wasted employee motion.
The cycle we talked about.
That's the one. An unclear instruction leads to the worker stopping work, walking to find a supervisor, waiting for a response, and then maybe having to redo the work.
And all that human motion, the walking, searching, calling, that's the source of that 53% workday loss figure. It's not just idle waiting.
Precisely. The second threat is unreported near misses.
Okay.
When communication is slow and feedback loops are broken, workers just don't bother reporting the small stuff, a minor spill, an equipment quirk.
Why not?
Because they see the reporting process as a waste of time. They feel like the information never gets to the right people anyway, so why bother?
So the company avoids a 5-minute report, but takes on a huge long-term risk.
A massive invisible risk. The report explicitly links this lack of reporting on low-cost near misses to these exponentially higher financial penalties when a major incident finally happens. Leadership is flying blind on safety.
And threat 3 brings us back to those veterans.
Tribal knowledge evaporation. This is the organization just hemorrhaging its most critical operational intelligence.
Because it only exists in people's heads.
And when those people retire, the company faces a catastrophic knowledge gap. They're forced into these expensive, reactive rebuild costs.
So hiring new people, retraining, and repeating old mistakes.
Exactly. They're paying to rebuild institutional memory from scratch instead of making a small, proactive investment to capture it in the first place.
So that is the pretty clear-eyed, quantified bad news.
It's a crisis driven by invisibility.
But the source material also suggests there's this incredible competitive edge here for anyone who acts now. What's the upside?
The upside is the staggering engagement of the current workforce. Despite all of this, 81% of frontline workers report being more engaged than they were last year.
That's amazing.
And looking forward, 94% are confident about safety improvements for 2026. This optimism, this readiness, that's the strategic asset.
So you have high worker engagement meeting high-tech readiness.
It's a perfect storm for a successful transformation. It creates what strategists call the maximum opportunity zone. You have worker optimism, proven tech comfort, and a high-cost problem that's now quantifiable. It's the ideal time to implement communication intelligence solutions.
So for a leader listening right now, the imperative is clear. What are the immediate actions the report recommends, the first steps?
The first, and it's the most foundational, is to start capturing frontline communication data now.
What does that mean, exactly?
It means you have to treat conversations, handoffs, and real-time problem-solving as operational data. That is how you finally make that invisible 70% visible.
So don't just watch the machines, watch the decisions happening between people.
That's it. Second, you have to map that data to actual productivity loss. Don't just look at downtime. Pinpoint the root cause that's costing you that $500,000.
Find the specific approval that always takes an hour.
Find the shift handover that's always breaking down. Get to the root cause, not the symptom.
And once you have that intelligence, how do you use it?
The third action is to use that data to train AI as a frontline co-pilot. And this isn't about replacing people.
It's about supporting them.
It's about giving them intelligent support. AI can do real-time translation. It can surface tribal knowledge for a junior worker instantly. It can alert a supervisor to a recurring problem before it becomes a crisis.
You're turning human experience into active institutional memory.
You are. And the final piece, and this is critical, is making sure it sticks.
Addressing that worker paradox.
That's right. The fourth step is to let workers immediately see the value. Show them how this new data capture directly fixes their daily frustrations.
So when they see the system reduce that 15 minutes of idle time,
they won't resist it. They will become advocates for it because it makes their jobs easier and more efficient.
This has been a really illuminating deep dive. It completely reframes the whole narrative around manufacturing challenges.
It does.
It's not about slow automation or disengaged workers. It's about management being unable to see and then leverage the full intelligence of their own operation.
It's a core visibility problem. That's the takeaway. It's a gap between operation reality and leadership visibility. And the solutions that bridge that gap are going to unlock just massive, measurable gains.
Gains that competitors who are still relying on reactive problem solving just won't be able to replicate.
They'll be left behind.
So what does this all mean for you? If you're planning your strategy for the coming years, here is a provocative thought to leave you with based on everything we've discussed. The source material strongly suggests that competitors who proactively fix these communication blind spots in 2026 will gain an advantage built on full institutional intelligence, an advantage that may become nearly impossible to replicate later. So the question is, if 70% of your operation is invisible right now, what critical systemic opportunities, not just problems, are you currently missing?
Think about that 70%.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.